All right. According to Zoom, we're live. So hopefully that's going to show up here on my channel.
Tim and Tim live discussion about Bibles. I'm clicking it right now.
All right. Yes, looks like we're live. And as I always say, if you are out there and you can hear us, let us know that you're there so that we know that we're actually streaming, and so that we know if anybody's out there who is part of the audience today. Let us know who you are, where you're from. And I'm excited. Got Tim Wildsmith with me today, the box throwing champion of the world. The Steven Spielberg of Bible reviewing channels. I've decided to dub you with these titles.
Steven Spielberg.
Because Steven Spielberg is known for his excellence in cinematography. I mean, and that's a good description of you, Tim.
Well, that's very kind. That's very kind. I hate to tell people. People are always asking, hey, they say, what's your B cam that you use on those Bible videos? And I'm like, it's a very old iPhone that I have to tweak very heavily to try to get it to look good.
That's right. But iPhones have a pretty good camera. So it's not bad to use an iPhone. So I want to share with everybody Tim Wildsmith's a YouTube channel here, and I'm sure a lot of people watching today live already know, but other people who come upon this video, I encourage you to go to Tim Wildsmith YouTube channel, and you have a lot of great stuff on there, a lot of Bible reviews, and that's what we're going to be talking about today, our experience as Bible reviewers, some of our favorite Bibles, especially what we're currently would say are our favorite Bibles. And I see some people in the audience. Dearwood Christian, Jason Whitaker, good to see you there. Double Tim, that's right. We are.
That's right.
Tim if we had today, I guess.
If we had Nichols here, it would be the Trinity of Tims.
Tim cubed. Yes, and we do plan to do some stuff with Tim Nichols at some point. I know he was talking to us about that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Tim Wildsmith, you also have a review blog. So for those of you who like written reviews, the website here, BibleReviewBlog.com, and those are your written reviews. I like watching your YouTube reviews, and I'm looking forward to our conversation today, just to talk about our experiences. So if you're just joining us, welcome. Great to see people already saying hi. And anybody else joining us, feel free to say hi in the live chat. We would love any comments that you have on all this, or any questions that you have for either of us Tims. Just say, I want to ask Tim a question.
That's right.
Before, that way we'll know which one. You could always use our last name initial if you want, but we'll both probably answer a lot of these questions as they come in. If people do have questions for us, we're going to be talking about some of our favorite Bibles. I also want to mention, for anybody who doesn't know this, I'm doing a Bible giveaway for the month of February. I partnered with Dearwood Christian, who's in the comments there, the live chat, and we're going to be giving away some Bibles at the end of the month of February 2022. To enter, to have a chance to win, you just have to email at afrishperspective@gmail.com, and in the subject line, put February giveaway, and your name will be entered into the drawing to have a chance to win a Bible. So wanted to mention that right off the bat. Let us know, though, as we go along here, what are your favorite Bibles? I know you're looking forward to seeing Tim Wildsmith show some of his favorite Bibles, and he's going to show them momentarily. But again, let us know if you have any questions that you have for us as we go along. So let's get into it. Yes. We're going to start off as two guys who've had the opportunity and really the great privilege, I'm sure you would agree, of being able to handle a lot of different Bibles.
Yes.
What at this point in time, because I'm sure it changes for you. It changes for me. What are some of the top Bibles that, if you had to say in my collection right now, these are some of the ones that stand out to me that I'm like, okay, this is one. And we could kind of go back and forth. You could show one, I'll show one. We'll do some show and tell here.
Yeah. So if anybody's been watching my channel, I've been getting into Bible rebinds lately and checking out different leathers and things like that. And so this morning I posted a video on my channel with this Bible, which is from SDG Rebinds, Vitaly at SDG. It's a gorgeous, I'm going to put this in front of my face so you can see it. It's a waxy pull-up cowhide, this like golden color, lots of texture. This is the CSB single column wide margin. This Bible, I love the text block of this, the single column, the wide margins. I reviewed this last year from Holman and I really loved it, but my cover that I got on mine was a little bit stiff, and so I always wanted to get a rebind, and I was able to pick this one up from Vitaly. So I just put an unboxing video on my channel this morning with this Bible, and I really am seeing these Bibles on my unboxing videos. I'm seeing them for the first time. I don't cheat. I don't open them and then, drool over them and then put them back up. It's always a first impression. And this one really, really knocked my socks off. And so I did not think I was going to like this kind of cowhide, but I have one more. This is another rebind from Adrian at AE Bibles, and it's the same type of leather, that Badalassi Carlo waxy pull-up cowhide, and you can see it's got all that texture and everything in it. And this is literally like, as far as on the top of my list, this is a rebind of the NLT Select from Tyndale Bibles, which a lot of people also know, the Caxton from Schuyler. So it's also a single column, but I really love this lexicon typeface. Beautiful for as far as like NLT Bibles, just a modern readable translation, I really like this Bible and this beautiful waxy pull-up cowhide edition from Adrian. But I've now got two Bibles with this leather on it, which are absolutely just insanely beautiful. So I'm kind of getting into that world of rebinds, just like finding a text block that you really love, that you wish you could kind of level up, and getting a quality custom rebinder to put a new piece of leather on it. And really, and they also like kind of, sometimes give some love to the text blocks and make them a little bit sturdier and stronger, that sort of stuff. So, and you can kind of customize things. So I'm enjoying that. It's been a lot of fun. But those two right there, waxy pull-up cowhide, they're both called, it's Italian leather. I like to say it. It's called Badalassi Carlo. I like to think about it. I'm probably speaking with a little bit of an accent. Badalassi Carlo leather. It's very good for my Bible. You know what I mean? Comedy
nice
brought to you
Italian
by Tim
accent you got there. Good job. All right. Well, as you can tell, Tim is a very serious person. Never likes to crack a joke. That's great, man. Well, I did see one question pop up here in the live chat about our favorite or a study Bible, if we had to pick a study Bible. So that's a really good question. And I feel like I've been getting that question a lot. I need to maybe give more attention on my channel to study Bibles, because it's a topic people really are interested in. My hesitation with study Bibles is that they do tend to have denominational theological biases, obviously. And, I don't want to just get too much into those distinctives, those denominational distinctives, when I'm just trying to promote the Bible. But obviously I do on my channel talk about theological issues, and I don't hide, that I have certain leanings myself. But with all that said, I do tend to recommend for, a lot of people who are maybe more along my lines in their thinking about Christianity. I love the ESV Study Bible. It's certainly one I highly recommend. And I think a lot of people, even if they don't come from that theological standpoint, which is it's more of the reformed background type standpoint, still, it's a Bible that a lot of people respect because it gives insight into different issues, and it does it in a pretty balanced, with a pretty balanced, fair approach to different subjects, and it has a lot of information too. So the ESV Study Bible, that's one. I could recommend others, but that tends to be my favorite What about you?
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Tim. And really, I think that the ESV Study Bible, where you get some of that, words that come to mind, like you said, reformed, conservative, a lot of that comes in some of the articles in that Bible, which are at the back of the Bible. If you go to the ESV Study Bible, the notes, it's really well done, and it's very even. They're not too heavy-handed on theological perspectives in the actual notes in the text. There's a few places, but those articles in the back are where you start to really sense some of the theological leanings from the writers and from the team that made up that Bible. And so it's like, as you're studying through the Bible, it doesn't, when you jump back to when they're talking about salvation theology and different things like that, you get a little bit more of that reformed perspective. I'm going to pull up my microphone because I'm using this Bible as a microphone stand. The new ESV Concise Study Bible. This is a different set of notes, and it doesn't have as much of the articles. I've really enjoyed this. I've been using this so far this year for some studying of the Bible, and it's similar in scope, but it's a little bit smaller and easier to digest. So yeah, I agree with you about that. And I also really love the NIV Study Bible. I grew up with the NIV Study Bible in my life, and it was what I studied with when I was doing Bible studies as a kid. I recently here's another little show and tell. I did an unboxing video with this. Well, this is a Cambridge edition of the 1984 NIV Study Bible that they released back around 2011 when the update was coming out. So they did a new text of the old one, or a new binding of an old one, really, really premium look and feel. And I saw the NIV Study Bible is another one that I just think is really solid and classic. And those two, I recommend those two a lot. So I recommend the ESV Study Bible if you want to really dig deep. And it's a little bit more dense. I recommend the NIV for kind of a middle ground. And then if you're somebody who's new to faith or has a new Christian in your life, or you really want to think more about how this applies to your life, I think that the Life Application Study Bible from Tyndale has some really great stuff in it, particularly the NLT translation, the kind of classic. My wife, Becca, that's what she used when she was a kid. And that's one that she still refers to a little bit. So it's more like, it's less historical, literary, contextual notes, and more about like, how can I apply this to my life, which obviously is going to be subjective, but it's got some good insights in there.
Good recommendations. I see in the comments, the live chat, someone put the MacArthur Study Bible is pretty neutral. that was said tongue in cheek. That's funny.
Someone else said the KJV only has fainted when I said I liked the NIV Study Bible. I actually just did an unboxing video with a KJV Schofield Study Bible from the KJV store, and people were like, "What happened to you?" So
yeah, Tim, I that's a good point. Are you a big Schofield fan now?
I actually had a really good, I'm going to share about this when I do a full review of this Bible. I had a great conversation with the guy who runs the KJV store about, hey, he said, hey, we get it. Not everybody, sees things this way, but this is a really classic old Bible that was an important Bible for a long time in the world of study Bibles. And we wanted to make a new, beautiful version of it that kind of honors the history and the legacy of that. So yeah, I'm not necessarily in the Schofield camp when it comes to, what's going to happen at the end of the world, but I definitely think that it's an interesting piece of history to kind of have a new version of, for sure. So I'm going to talk about that more when I do a full review of that Bible, which turned out really great, by the way. Yeah.
That's awesome. And actually that Bible, I was really intrigued by it because Schofield, when I think of Schofield, I think of these old Bibles. And even when I grew up in a background where people would have used the Schofield Bible a lot. Mm-hmm. But seeing it in a Netherlands printed format, it's a little bit hard to get my mind wrapped around, to be honest with you. It's not something I would have ever expected to see. So yeah, looking forward to the full review.
This is a good example of those unboxing videos that while I was doing it, I did not know it while I was doing it, but I folded twice. I accidentally creased the pages and folded them on top of each other while I was doing, and I didn't notice it until the end of the video. And all throughout the comments, people were like, "Oh no, you ruined the Bible. I can't believe you did that." Like people were, they were losing it because they were so dismayed. But the Bible, actually, I gave it a little bit of TLC, and it's looking very nice. So hopefully people can rest assured.
The worst I ever saw was someone was reviewing a Bible, and my heart I felt for them because they didn't know that the tabbed pages with the edgeline construction are supposed to be glued, and they saw it was partially glued, which you'll see a lot. And a lot of people get confused by that. And right in the middle of their review on their channel, they said, I don't know if this is supposed to be like this. These are stuck together, and they just ripped it apart. I felt so bad. But so for those of you out there, if you have a Bible that is a high quality Bible and you see two pages that are glued together partway, Tim might even have one there.
Don't start ripping your Bible apart.
Don't rip that. That's part of the construction to help it to hold together well.
Here's one right here. So you have the end sheet, and then it's halfway down. It's in there. It's glued in there. That's what you're talking about, right, Tim?
That's correct. That's what I'm talking about. So
you see the tab.
Don't tear that apart.
The tab is in there, but this part, I'm kind of the dope that would do something like that, Tim. Honestly, like, don't put it past me.
Well, we all have our moments, right? Well,
right.
Thank you everybody for all these all the input you're giving for study Bibles. And we're gonna keep talking though about our Bibles that are ones that we really have are standout Bibles for us in our Bible collections. And I want to show this one. I do also have a rebind like you showed, Tim, and that's one of them. But I really want to start off with this little Bible here from the 1980s, because it's just not something you can easily find today because it's from the 1980s. And I happened to get it off of eBay in really good condition. What I think is so cool about these Bibles is, first of all, it's the same kind of Bible I had when I was growing up. So that's cool. But I can hold this so easily. You can see it's pretty small. Here's what's amazing though. It's hard to find something like this today. The print inside has to be right around, it's hard to see on camera here, but a 9-point font with center column references. And yet it's still a pretty small Bible. And the paper on this, it's not line matched, but it doesn't have to be. The paper is just amazingly opaque. And I think it's because they just made paper differently back then.
Yeah.
They had a different process than they use now for different reasons. And so that to me is something you just don't see today. And so this is special for, partly personal reasons, but that's one I really like. This is called it's from World Bible Publishers. It's the King James Version. And what do they call it? The Royal Sovereign, I think is what it's called.
Is it about
Royal Sovereign Center Reference Bible?
I love that name, Royal Size. Is it about like a 5x8 kind of trim size?
Yeah. I feel like now 5.5 by 8.5 is a very common size. This Bible, and this kind of represents a lot of Bibles from the 80s, is a little bit smaller than that, actually. It's a very unique trim size, but I think it's because now a lot of publishers are finding ways to do things in a uniform manner, and it does help cut down on costs. But back then, they would make Bibles in very unique form factors, So that's mine. That's my first one.
I grew up with a lot of NIV thin line Bibles. I have a couple that were from B&H, Broadman and Holman, back before they had the CSB, and it was those skinny kind of 5-inch by 8-inch Bibles that had cross reference. Some of them had cross references, some of them didn't. Really, really small, thin Bibles. I liked those a lot. I actually, you mentioned one you got on eBay. This is the Bible. It's a wide margin. It's an old, thin Cambridge wide margin. I got this on eBay, and this is what I'm doing. I'm doing a series of videos this year called A Year Through the Bible, and I'm using this. And a lot of people have been asking me about it because it's this very, very thin but kind of wide Bible that same thing with you, Tim. It's not line matched, but the paper just feels really thick. I've been writing in it, and it's got these big, beautiful, let me see if I can get this open, these big, beautiful wide margins all the way around. And I have really enjoyed using this Bible so far to start the year. And I'm trying to find a couple pages where I've really dug into it and written all over it. I'm using different colored pens and things like that. And it shows through a little bit, but it's like, it's not bad. And I'm able to kind of write and part of the thing, I'm like, I do a lot of premium Bibles and reviews and things like that. And I got this pretty affordable. It's got great quality and it's holding up just fine. I love that it's thin, so I can slide it in. I shared with my channel that I slid it into my messenger bag and it was like the perfect fit. And because I didn't spend a ton of money on it, I feel like I can just throw it in my bag and go. I don't have to baby it. Sometimes I get a brand new premium Bible and I don't want to do anything to it. I don't want to write in it. I don't want to take it anywhere, but this one has been really great for that. And again, you can't buy this anymore. Cambridge doesn't make it. But I really wish that they'd make some this size, like the super thin wide margins, because now the wide margins are getting really, really, really thick. And I like these thin ones. I don't know how they kept the paper as opaque as it is, but I really love it.
Yeah. So YouTube is a treasure trove if you're looking for something.
You mean eBay?
Yeah, that's what I meant, eBay. Yes.
Yeah.
I get past the morning, by the way, and my brain already gets pretty tired out. So you're gonna probably have to reinterpret a lot of what I say here. Yes, I meant eBay. eBay is a treasure trove. All right. Someone asked for a Rebinder recommendation, so I'm going to show my rebind here and echo what Tim Wildsmith mentioned earlier. Adrian Alonso.
Yeah.
From and I'm blanking. Here's my brain going again. What's
AE Bibles?
AE Bibles. Thank you. AE Bibles. This one was done by Adrian from AE Bibles. Tim Wildsmith has one there too. Both in that Battalassi Carlo leather.
Battalassi Carlo.
And this one is, they call it a tobacco color. It's kind of a reddish brown.
That's gorgeous.
And he put these gold or sable ribbons.
Yeah.
And his spine work is just absolutely flawless from everything I can tell. He does a lot of times perimeter stitching on the Bible. But yeah, he's definitely one I highly recommend. I learned about him actually from David Lee from SA Tabernacle, his channel. He really likes AE Bibles a lot.
What Bible was that, Tim? It said Cambridge on it.
Oh yeah, I didn't mention the inside, but he rebound this Clarion. This is the NASB Cambridge Clarion, but they have Clarion editions in different translations, but this one happens to be the NASB. So do you have any other Bible rebinds?
I do,
or other rebinders that you want to mention?
Just to double down there on Adrian from AE Bibles is such a sweet guy, so kind, and really great to work with. And every now and then I'll just get a text message from Adrian where he sends me some pictures of Bibles that he's rebinded for someone. I'm just always blown away by the quality of his work. Another person that I've spent a lot of time chatting with, because I'm actually getting ready to do a custom rebind project of my own, is Nick from Lion and Lamb Bible Rebinds. This is another really beautiful, look at that piece of leather. Lion and Lamb, he's located up in Canada. I recently spent like 2 hours on a video chat like this with Nick talking about some ideas for Bibles. But let me see if I can show you that beautiful logo he has. Really, really lovely work. The inside of this Bible is just as see that corner work. I mean, just next level. This is the people who watch my channel know I love the Nkjv single column wide margin Bible. Really, really great. So you have, this is kind of funny, actually. I love this Bible. This is the Thomas Nelson version, goatskin Premier Collection. Looks great, feels great. I love this Bible. This is the same Bible from Nick at Lion and Lamb. And it's just kind of, again, you take a Bible you love, that's great. You can make it next level, custom ribbons, everything beautifully done. And this leather that Nick uses, he doesn't actually tell you what it is, because he spent so much time scoping out the world for the best pieces of leather. And his work is absolutely stunning as well. And I've had a couple Bibles come through for my channel, but I'm actually now working on a custom project with him that I'm really excited about. So I'll be getting that. It's going to take a while. I'll be getting that later this year and talking about it on my channel, but he's very, very talented.
That is actually a rebinder that I was really interested in myself, Lion and Lamb. But I don't know if I'll ever be able to get one. We'll see.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to get an AE Bibles rebind, but God worked that out. So
that's awesome.
It's great. And I'm asking in the comments if anybody has any rebinders that they know of that they've used. I know Tim Nichols likes ICA rebinds and Christ Alone.
Those look really great.
I'm pretty sure that he uses them. And of course, the renowned Post Tenebris Lux.
I have one of those upstairs right now. That's gorgeous. PTL. Those are great Bibles. And from also from Dave at Cherry Hill. I love Dave's work. I've seen a couple of those in person that are really nice. I'm trying to think of who else. I have one from Frost Leather, which is very Allen-esque, inspired by. I really like those. I'm trying to think of who else I've had through. I've had a bunch. Like I said, I've been kind of getting into it and checking things out, but you can go on those Facebook groups that we're all a part of and see different people sharing their work from rebinders. And it's always really nice.
Someone just mentioned Paul's Leather Company, which brings up a whole different category of what I would call the more natural grain leather approach to rebinding. And For the King and Trading Company does that as well. If you want something that looks really rustic and just a very natural grain leather look, Paul's Leather and For the King Trading Company are two that are really good. Someone asked, anyone have a Clarion ESV in Goat? Do the pages curl? Yeah, the Clarion Bibles do tend to have page curl. A lot of people have pointed that out because it's very thin paper.
But several people have reached out to me recently via my Instagram page or just emailing me through my website asking about page curl. And I'm pretty convinced that this time of year, when the air dries out, that's one of the factors that make pages curl. I have a couple of Bibles and books even that have done that recently. I think it might be humidity in the air related. That could be wrong. I'm not a meteorologist, but actually I probably should be a meteorologist because I would get the weather right as much as they do. I do think that's part of it. This time of year, the humidity, that sort of thing impacts those pages curling a little bit.
Yeah. And page curl, someone actually mentioned recently that the upside of it is it's easier to turn the page because the
it's already there for you
a little bit. So I guess there's always a bright side. You can always look at awesome. The silver lining. All right. So we're going to show a few more Bibles here.
Yes.
I think I'll quickly show one I've shown before, but I feel like it always deserves a mention, is the Allen 52. This is a King James Bible. Man, by the way, I just want to say I'm not pointing out these Bibles necessarily because of their translation, because the King James is not what I primarily use. But the King James, as I like to say, does get the royal treatment a lot. Yes. And the Allen Bible, the King James Bibles from Allen, the rebinders in England are just, wonderful. And this is one of those Bibles that, out of all the Bibles I've gotten from a company, as opposed to like a personal rebinder, this is one where when I opened the box, I really was blown away. It was just done so flawlessly. And not all Allen Bibles are the same. They're a little different from each other. But the Allen KJV 52, I was very impressed with this. This is the Merivah Calfskin. It's a green Bible. The gold gilt on the side and the red undergold is just done, honestly, better than most other Bibles I've ever seen. I don't know what it is, but it's just the hue of the colors and how well they applied the art gilding, but it's just done super well. And then the ribbons are really unique.
Yeah.
So it's just the complete package. The paper even in this is some of the best paper I've ever seen. So I have to mention that.
Yeah, I have the purple edition of that Bible. And when you showed me your green one, I kind of wished I'd gotten the green one. The good thing about the long primer series from Allen is that, unlike some of their other Bibles where they get a text block from another publisher and rebind it, everything about the long primer series is built from the ground up by Royal Youngblood, and the paper and the binding, and not the binding, I guess some of them they do at other binderies with different leathers, but those ones, the calfskin editions, are all done by Royal Youngblood. So it's really top quality paper, construction, all that stuff. And you're right, the the art gilding on those Bibles is insanely beautiful. Like they do a really good job with that.
Indeed. Well, what about you? Do you have another Bible in the docket there that you want to show us?
I've got so many Bibles sitting around me. I'm going to also, I'll keep it in the Allen world. A lot of people know that my favorite Allen is this one. It's the New Revised Standard Version, the NRSV 1 with the speckled page edges. I got this Bible. I did not think I was going to like the speckled page edges when I saw it online, but I got an opportunity to get this Bible and I absolutely love it. It's an old antiquarian style that they do. And I took this Bible with me when I went to England a little over a year ago, and it was the only Bible I took with me. And so I just kind of fell in love with it because I was spending time with it all the time. And I found that even though it was a premium Bible with Highland goatskin and all the Allen, perks, I could still, again, the test I have, I could throw it in my bag and take it with me and not worry about it. It was really, it really held up well. It's got a unique piece of leather on it. And I kind of liked the funkiness of the speckled page edges. And multiple times I'd be in class or in chapel services when I was there, and someone would say, "Hey, can I borrow your Bible real quick?" Because I'd have it with me. And I'd be like, "Yeah." And they would take it and I would watch them. I would keep my eye on them as they picked it up. And every time within like 4 or 5 seconds, that person would be like, "Whoa, that's gorgeous." They would they could feel the quality. And that's one of my favorites. So definitely, I've had a lot of R.L. Allen Bibles in the last couple of years. I've fallen in love with them, but this is hands down my favorite for sure. Beautiful Bible.
Someone asked about affordable rebinders, and I know that can be very cost prohibitive to try to get a Bible rebound because these are craftsmen, artists who do this work, and it usually does cost quite a bit. I remember I did actually get a rebind done by Retreasured Rebound Bibles. They had, I thought, some of the lower prices that I've seen out there. I feel like in Christ Alone, from what I've seen, I think that they seem to have pretty good prices. But, I can't think of a rebinder who's going to be, budget oriented because it's just the nature of what they're doing. It does take a lot of time.
Some of those, more like, rustic companies that you mentioned, you can get a more affordable rebind. But yeah, I think when you factor in the quality of the materials, for example, let's use Lion and Lamb. I know that Nick, everything about his Bibles except for his end sheets are all from places around the globe that he imports into Canada. So he's finding the best of the best materials. So you take just the material cost of it that you're putting into it. This is why Bible publishers aren't doing huge runs of Bibles with these premium leathers, because it's so cost prohibitive. So you take that factor, then you factor in just the time and the energy that goes into it, and you and then the fact that it's really popular right now. There's a lot of these people, like the demand is there. So if you kept your prices low, you'd have more work than you knew what to do with. And so I think part of that is just kind of supply and demand issue of it. But yeah, it's definitely that's why I try on my channel to show people different things, because I'm in a situation as a Bible reviewer where I can get my hands on some things a little bit easier. And what I tell people is spend some time with the Bible, find a text block that you really love. Like we've talked about, it's the right size, it's the right typeface. It's like, this is a Bible that I'm so into. And then consider taking that to a rebinder and actually spending the money, or asking your family to give you that as a gift for a holiday or a birthday or Christmas, and really investing so you can have like a once in a lifetime Bible. Often what I find is that, I don't really necessarily need to rebind a Schuyler or an Allen because they're so great to begin with, but I can find a less expensive Bible when I really want to spend some money to put it into like the next level because I love it so much. And there's not a premium version of it out there, that sort of thing.
I have a Bible I might show later that's like that. Someone asked, at the other end of the scale, do you have a favorite economy/outreach paperback Bible? Well, my answer is no. I don't touch those. I'm kidding. What do you have there, Tim?
I just reviewed this. It's been out for a while. It's the Immerse NLT Bible it's from both the Tyndale and the Institute for Bible Reading. And I Tyndale said, hey, can we send you these? We have a new large print version coming out. And I started checking this out and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then I ended up interviewing Alex, the executive director of the Institute for Bible Reading, and learned more about this project. Really cool. And it feels like a paperback novel. It looks like a paperback novel on the inside. They're affordable. This is like the entire New Testament right here in one paperback novel size. And there's a whole system in place if you go to their website where you have resources for like doing like a book group. Like if you had like a book club with your friends using the New Testament like a book club, and they have questions and stuff like that and videos and podcasts that you can use. I thought this was really cool. And as I started talking about it on my channel, a bunch of people reached out to me and said, we're using that at my church right now. We just did that in our Bible study group and we love it. So the feedback about this project, not just from me, but from people who have actually used it quite a bit, are, hey, we really love this immersed Bible from Tyndale and the Institute for Bible Reading. It's really cool. And they have the entire Bible now, like I think it's 6 sets, a 6-volume set for the entire thing.
Yeah, my only, thing, if you're kind of shopping around for a paperback Bible, obviously the great thing about that is that you're not spending a lot. So you're not really, it's not taking a huge risk to buy something. But I will say you want to make sure that you look for something with a good size font, especially if you're getting an economy Bible, because the print quality is probably not going to be as good as if you spend more. So you're gonna probably need a larger font. On top of that, one way they'll save money is by printing those Bibles with, extra small font. So just watch out for that. But certainly paperback Bibles can be a great option. Someone asked, how does the Cambridge Concord in brown mahogany calfskin compare to the Allen? I do have a Cambridge Concord in brown mahogany calfskin. I think maybe, Tim, you've seen the brown mahogany calfskin from Schuyler.
It's so funny that this question came up, because I was looking at them online last night, because I had an original Concord from Cambridge in the black, and I've kind of been wanting to check that Bible out again, and I was looking that edition up. I've never had one in my hands, but it looks really gorgeous.
Did you ever have one though that was not a Concord, but a Schuyler Bible with the marbled mahogany calfskin?
Yes, and I really like that. It's I had an ESV Quintel. I did a giveaway with that ESV Quintel back at Christmas time, and then I have a KJV Traveris in the marbled mahogany calfskin, and that's been a big winner for. So the reason why it's the same thing, because evangelicalbible.com and Schuyler are the same folks, and so the limited edition Concord in marbled mahogany calfskin is an Evangelical Bible exclusive, and so they've had a lot of success with that leather, and it's kind of like the Nkjv calfskin that you showed from Alan. It's a slightly softer, smoother piece of leather, but they've gotten this marbled effect somehow on it that I really like, the kind of texture that gives it visually. I think those are very, very beautiful Bibles. And they did a blue one. Didn't they do a blue one last year? Similarly?
A blue.
They did a blue
Concord.
I think so. I think they did a blue.
But
Does anybody know?
I don't think that would be the calfskin though, right? It's probably blue goat skin.
That might be true.
But
might be true.
But one thing I will say from what I have in holding that Bible myself, I don't know which Allen Bible you're comparing to, because they have a lot of different. I bet they're saying an Allen Concord, but I'm not familiar if Allen ever rebound the Concord Bible.
Not that I know of.
Or maybe they're just saying compared to the Allen 52. I would say my Allen 52 in the Nkjv calfskin is more flexible than the marbled mahogany calfskin.
Okay.
And the marbled mahogany that I have it just has a little bit more of a tougher feel to it. It is very smooth, but it feels a little bit more, like it's just got a toughness to it compared to the Nkjv calfskin. So that would be my take on it. All right. So how are these comments going here? I see still a lot of people commenting. Thank you so much, everybody, for your feedback. This is great. I do want to follow up though with the last Bible you showed, Tim. You showed us the speckled edges. I'm going to show a speckled edge Bible.
Come on.
This is the I think it's from Zondervan.
It is.
Yeah, you were going to show that one too.
I brought this Bible to show and tell too, Tim.
We're like twins right now.
Two Tims.
Yeah. Wow. Well, there you go. I guess that says something. But it reminded me when you showed the last one, NRSV, right? That Allen was an NRSV.
Yeah, and so I have the Zondervan is yellow and the Allen is red, but they kind of have the same vibe.
Yeah, they do. I think it's an NRSV thing to put speckled page edges with it. Yeah, I have to say this one, it's not my favorite translation in terms of kind of the background of it. Okay. They're not as conservative. I'll just put it that way. But I have been doing a read through of the NRSV, and actually I do enjoy a lot of the way that the translation reads. I can tell it has a really good literary quality to it, and it's very clear in how it phrases things. So I love those things about it. But the size of this
such a good
size is such a good size, and it even has the Deuterocanonical books in there, and yet it still manages to be a good size with a pretty good size font.
Similar to that size of the one, similar to that size of the one you showed, the KJV Sovereign one you showed from earlier. It's not too big, and if it didn't have the Apocrypha in there, it'd be even thinner. So yeah.
So it's like, this is not a Bible I would have been inclined to like if it weren't for the fact that it's just so well done.
Yeah,
it's unique. That purple cover is a really unique, and it's really nice goat skin on here. So that's pretty affordable. Zondervan, you can get a good Bible like this.
And I don't know which ones are public knowledge, but I did a video at the beginning of January about like the exciting Bibles I knew about coming out in 2022. And they have a couple of other Bibles this size and this quality that are coming out this year in other translations. So I'm really excited that Zondervan is kind of, going back to this method and this size, because I really love it. I would call this a mid-size Bible. Anything kind of less than 6x9 as far as inches go in the trim size. And they're going to have a couple of these in other translations. The other translations that they do being NIV, NASB. And so I think that there's some, if people like that one, they're going to be excited about some of the stuff Zondervan has coming out later this year for sure.
They are doing a great job.
Great job.
All right. Well, I know that Tim Wildsmith is going to have to get going in about 15 minutes. So I want to make sure that we, pack as much as we can in here. But we do want to be mindful of that. So maybe we can show another Bible or so, but we're also going to talk a little bit about some things that we've learned that have stood out to us as we've reviewed Bibles. So do you have one more Bible, though, that you wanted to show?
I saw a comment from my friend Amptown One down there about Humble Lamb. I brought the Nkjv Shepherd with me, which you have to show it this way first for that art gilding, the 4-edge art gilt. This is the Nkjv Shepherd that came out last fall from Humble Lamb, and really, really just beautiful Bibles, right? And the typesetting on the inside, the single column, they use that same Milo typeface that Schuyler uses. Really, really beautifully done, and these Bibles just turned out really great. As far as what's coming out, I saw a video Daniel shared that they're doing another run of the KJV Lion. That's on the docket, some more of those. And then they, on that same video that I did, the 2022 releases, I kind of teased that he told me, and I don't know any more information, but that they are working on something new and exciting that the Bible world has never seen before, is basically the way he said it. So I've heard about another project where they might be doing a third or fourth translation, adding that to their line as well. So I know they have some new stuff coming, but I really liked the Shepherd.
Thank you. That's good to hear as much insider information as we can give there. But it sounds like Humble Lamb is a little bit secretive about their
holding things close,
Yeah. Someone commented, this is just an interesting take, but I think it's worth sharing that the Zondervan Allen NRSVs with speckled edges are actually frustrating to this person. They said the publishers felt the translation was useful for trying new things, but not worthy of the respect shown to other translations. So this, what they're kind of saying here is, it's almost like they feel it's not being treated with as much respect, because to them, I guess, speckled edges, kind of almost seems like, I don't know. I guess to some people it might come across that way.
Shout out
kind of depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, shout out to Jason who offered that comment. He's a friend of mine here, and he is a big time NRSV fan, and I appreciate that about him. I too do like the NRSV. I used it through seminary, and as you shared, Tim, kind of like it became something that I loved the way it read, and I've kind of stuck with it. That's an interesting perspective, Jason. Trying something new, but also it's kind of an old world way of doing things with those speckled page edges and things like that. But I see what you're saying there. I do think that I know that Cambridge is going to really go big with the NRSV updated edition that just came out. They're going to be doing some classic bindings and offering some new things with that. So I do think when I first got into Bible reviewing a couple of years ago, I felt like NRSV options were fairly limited. And it seems to be that's growing a little bit, which is a good sign for me. So, and I think as the update comes out, we're going to have the complication of, publishers moving to having an updated text to work with, and they're going to have to do new issues. So it might take some time to kind of get fully on board with that. But hopefully for NRSV fans out there, there's some good news on the horizon for new editions and things like that.
I do have that same NRSV that I showed, the same text block, but it's the more economy edition, and it has just silver edges.
Yeah.
So there are some options from Zondervan with that particular format. But yeah, that premium Bible does have the speckled edges. Someone also asked this question: is the ESV Clarion still the 2011 text edition? And I don't know the answer to that personally.
They've done a 2016 update. Yeah, I actually had the one I reviewed on my channel at the very beginning of Bible Review Blog was a 2011, but I'm 99% sure that I have seen 2016. We might get an appearance from the one and only Becca Wildsmith here in a second. I've seen 2016 Clarions as well. That's one of the things about folks like Cambridge. They make premium Bibles, but because they're a larger company, I think they make a lot of them. So people are always like, when are you going to do this? Hey, Becca, come say hi. She's on the stairwell. We saw you.
Yeah.
Lean down. Oh, here she goes. Everybody, this is the real legend here. Yo, Tim.
Hey, I got to show Becca something.
He's got
what do you think of my shirt?
Oh, he's got his Biscuit Love shirt on.
Sporting the Biscuit Love.
My wife designed that t-shirt.
Designed by Becca.
That's the Tennessee flag right there. I can't hear anything.
That's awesome.
He's just saying it was designed by you. I have my headphones in.
That's right. She can't hear. We'll do sign language. Hello.
Pardon me.
He's doing sign language. She's gone. Yeah, Tim came to visit Nashville on a trip he took earlier this year, and he and I got to have lunch at Biscuit Love, which is the restaurant that my wife's family owns and operates, and she is their creative director. So she does all the branding and the t-shirts and all that stuff. So, yeah.
That was intentional. This is not the only t-shirt I wear.
You wore it for my ribbons video.
I was thinking of you today, and I was like, oh, I should wear that shirt. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So, yeah. Well, before we get to the final thing we're going to talk about, we'll do that in the last several minutes. I just want to show one more Bible that is actually one that I want them to make a premium version of it, but they haven't.
Okay.
And it's the ESV. And if Crossway happens to be listening, I know that they already make the Omega, which is, people love that. But their thin line Bibles are great, and they do have heirloom thin lines. But what's really special is that they have a large print thin line that is the same height and width as their regular thin line. It's just not a reference edition. So that's how it's different from the Omega. And therefore, it's a little bit smaller and a little bit easier to hold than the Omega. Unfortunately, they don't have one that has the nice paper, the premium paper. So please, Crossway,
what does it look like in the paragraph
happen to see this? I want the large print thin line, non-reference edition in a premium format. Thank you.
Love it. Tim Frisch. And as we probably can tell by the ribbons that they continue to put on their Bibles, Crossway doesn't listen to us. So
what are you talking about? In my ribbon video, I said one ribbon is just fine. They're listening to me.
Y'all have got to go watch. I did a video a couple weeks ago with Tim and the other Tim Nichols, and Bo Tate was on there, Randy Brown, Cat Woods, and R. Grant Jones. He really went for it. We did it. And so here's the backstory to that video. I sent the two Tims a message, and it started that way. I said, hey, you guys want to do a video with me where we talk about Bible ribbons? It's going to be really lighthearted. So Frisch here comes in with a Bible going, this is perfect. This skinny little single ribbon from Crossway. And I was like, but the way he presented it, I was like, I'm 90% sure that he's joking, but there's 10% of me that he kept a straight face during the whole thing. So I thought he was pretty serious. And it ended up being a really fun video. Grant Jones used the Pythagorean theorem and talked about measurements and mathematics. I was like, everybody got the assignment. Really, really great. And it turned into a really fun video. But Frisch kind of scared me for a second when I first watched his video.
Well, our personalities coming out, and your video really afforded the opportunity for the different personalities to shine, because R. Grant Jones, that was so fitting. He's such a detail-oriented person, so it's exactly what you would expect from him, to have an entire mathematical approach to what is the best ribbon. But I do want to say, I did see something in the comments here. Oh yes, are you looking forward to the leather diadem? That was the question. Are you looking forward to the leather bound diadem? I haven't even touched a diadem yet. So
I love the diadem. I love the size. And yes, I'm sure that the leather editions that they're doing are going to be fantastic. I reviewed the hardcover editions that came out last fall. So they made an Esv Diadem. This is Cambridge. The Esv Diadem with both Apocrypha and without Apocrypha. And I always say that word weird, Apocrypha. And it's the same typesetting as the Pitt Minion and the Cambridge wide margins. And it's kind of a middle ground. It's really about the same text size as the wide margins, just a little bit bigger, I think. But it's no wide margins. So it's a really great, as Tim and I have been talking, kind of in that mid-size Bible range, even a little bit smaller than some of these. So I'm excited to see what they do with the leather editions. I think those are going to be fantastic.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm not sure if I'll end up getting one. I don't have any kind of connection. I know you have inside connections with Cambridge, but I do not. So I don't know. Maybe down the road I'll get one. But anyway, let's just close off our time in the last few minutes. Tim and I will each maybe share one thing that has stood out to us, something that we've learned. And I guess I'm just going to tie into what you just talked about with ribbons and say what I have learned is that people have very different opinions about ribbons and very strong opinions about ribbons. And here's what I am going to say about what I did on your video. The truth in what I was saying is that I don't, for me, think they're actually that important. And I know that's controversial, and some people are going to tune out, like they're going to turn this off now. But here's that Bible I showed at the beginning. It's a fabric ribbon. This is what we used to get in our Bibles, a lot of times. And now if someone doesn't have 2-3 long, wide ribbons, they really react strongly. And so I just I don't know what it is, but I just have this, I don't mind, I get it. Like, it's nice if a Bible has ribbons that fit the look of the Bible. I totally understand that. But in terms of functionality, you know, I'm not actually that opinionated, but I have learned along the way that there are even people out there, I've seen them, that the ribbons they put in there.
Yeah.
So
controversy right here. I kind of tend to agree with you, Tim. I'm not like a crazy, actually in that video, I think Kat mentioned this, Grant mentioned this, everybody mentioned it except for you and me, that like the idea behind a ribbon is that it needs to be long enough to pull to the edge of your Bible and open the pages. And I had never even thought about that. That's such a rookie thing for me to admit. But, you know, I'll say this about like big picture, what I've learned, you know, there are a zillion Bibles out there. And I kind of use this catchphrase on my channel that I want to help people find a Bible that's right for them. There's a wide world of Bible publishing. There's so many different shapes and sizes and typefaces and translations and styles of Bible that it can be a little bit overwhelming. And so as someone who's gotten to see hundreds of Bibles in the last couple of years, and I'm really convinced that it is important to find a Bible that you really love and enjoy using. If you find one that draws you in because of the typesetting, that draws you in because of the leather they use, or whatever the size, if it makes it really good for you and you like it, it might be a good idea to invest in something that's a little bit more expensive to really draw you in, because it might be better than the cheap Bible you've had for 15 years. But at the same time, what I think I've learned is what's really important is that you spend time with it, right? Like you can go find 100 different Bibles, and literally I probably have 100 Bibles in my house right now. And what's most important is that you spend time with it. And I think sometimes that gets lost sight, and particularly for me and what I do, because I've always got another Bible to unbox or another Bible to review that I'm really excited about. But for me, like the NRSV wide margin that I have here that I'm reading through the Bible this year with, there's a few things that I like about it, but it's not like super, like it's not something that really knocked me out when I first got it. But I've really learned to love it because it's the Bible that I'm reading every single day this year. And it's become part of my life in a really meaningful way. And so if I'm going to be kind of, you know, I'm kind of getting on my soapbox now, but I just think, you know, a lot of times we get distracted by all the beautiful frilly stuff, but really it's what God's going to teach us through those Bibles, and the ones that we love and read I think that's what's most important.
Excellent words of wisdom and encouragement there. So thank you for sharing that. That's really important. And I want to echo that as well, that at the end of the day, I think our heart behind what we do is actually to fan the flames of people's interest in God's word. And I think that's why we're passionate about it, because we know the impact it's had in our lives. And so it's not really about the external things. It's what it represents to us, that when we see a beautiful copy of God's word, we believe that is a reflection of the beauty of the truth that is contained within it.
Amen.
And that's, I think, why we enjoy doing this so much. And it's wonderful to meet people like all of you out there who actually are interested in this stuff too.
Yeah.
And are, you know, still putting things in the comments. Thank you. We're going to have to wrap things up though.
Yeah.
Because we're out of time, but hopefully we'll be able to talk again at some point in the future. And this was great doing a live stream.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody for joining. Yeah. And really appreciate you coming on, Tim, and spending some time with us today. Really. Thank you so much.
Right back at you, Tim. I appreciate you, man. You become a good friend through this wide world of Bible YouTubers. So I appreciate you, man.
Thank you.